Good afternoon. Oh, we can do better than that. Good afternoon. All right, that's more like it. We have 310 Baby in the house today.
Hello.
Welcome to you both. It's great to have the opportunity to speak with you about Empire's rising generation. And so, Alex, I want to start with you. Empire has launched the careers of Kendrick Lamar, Cardi B, Anderson .Paak, household names. And you have a stellar roster of artists, including Shabuzi, who is just on a tear right now, with Tipsy being #1 for, 12 weeks?
13 weeks.
13 weeks.
Record-breaking 13 weeks. Straight.
So can you tell us a little bit more about Empire, and what are you doing to support your artists, such as 310 Baby?
Yeah, so by way of introduction, Empire is the largest independent record label in the U.S. by market share. We have over 300 artists signed to the label, including Shabuzi, 310 Baby, and many more. We have 3,000 artists signed to the distribution arm. We are a truly global company and a truly global roster. We have 250 employees in 25 countries and are really leading the way in terms of breaking artists and genres outside of English-speaking regions. So if we look at the African continent, for example, we are the largest label there. We are the largest label in West Asia, North Africa, which is formerly known as the Middle East. And we continue to invest and develop in emerging genres and emerging geographies. We're very bullish on the future and what we can do with not just talent in the U.S., but outside of the U.S.
Thank you for that. 310 Baby, I must bring you in. I will give the Cliff Notes version and start with just the month of June. You graduated from high school and you were presented with your platinum plaque for Soak City at graduation. And if you haven't seen the video of his classmates rushing the stage, and it's a beautiful moment. And then you also performed at Kendrick's Juneteenth celebration.
Yes.
So have you had an opportunity to take it all in?
I mean, it's been a lot. But it all came together during my senior year. So, like, it's been about 1.5 years now, and I still really haven't adjusted to it completely. But I'm excited for what's to come. I feel like I'm in the right rooms, and the future is bright.
Now, you call yourself the leader of the youth. Can you expand on that for our audience, and what does that mean when it comes to your sound and your music?
Yeah, I think my sound, I want to touch on my sound. My sound comes from my iPhone. I feel like I call myself the leader of the youth because I want to show kids that no matter what it is that you want to do, you can do it. Nothing is impossible. I made that platinum song you were referring to off my iPhone using the app called BandLab, right? So it's like the future is bright, and I want to show kids that don't let anything stop you. There's no excuse. I didn't have a studio budget. I didn't have a big brother or a father putting money in my pocket so I can go to the studio. I had to figure it out. And technology like AI is making that easier and easier every day for me.
With that, Alex, how do you guys discover 310? He's working on his own, creating his music. What happened?
Well, maybe you want to tell that story.
Yeah, so, I mean, in my room every day on BandLab working, believing that I could one day make it. And then for it to one day click, it all just happened so fast. But it felt like it was meant to be. You know what I mean? I feel like those uncomfortable days or those hard days, that's what makes me stronger. And I feel like every day, I mean, with having Empire, you know, choosing to go independent, for me, it wasn't about the money early on. I wanted ownership and I wanted freedom. With me being young, I didn't really understand everything. I wanted to go independent so I could learn to educate myself. And once again, being a leader of the youth, I want to express that and show the kids around the world that you can go independent and still be successful and go platinum and have a #1 record on both both formats.
But in terms of discovering new artists, I think that's sort of your question. We leverage many things, right? Data is obviously important, and we look at streaming data, we look at social data. But we also need to understand where artists fit within the larger cultural narrative. And I think that's what really differentiates us in terms of our investments and the investments we've made, because you can look at all of the data in the world and you may not be able to predict any sort of success, or you may just get a one-hit wonder. And we really take a long-term orientation in the way that we think about artists, their development, investing in them, and continuing to build out services. Whereas, I think there's been a large pullback in the industry. We're continuing to invest in net new services for artists and allowing them to be able to work all within the confines of Empire and work with our executive leadership team for them to further their careers, and we're really committed to doing that.
And what struck me when we first met, you talked about how the senior leadership team spends time with every artist, and there's this sincere investment in them having a very long and successful career.
That's right. I'll let 310 talk about something I did with him, which was very unique, and you probably don't see that at a lot of other labels, but we, for every single artist meeting we have all the senior executives in the room and really want to show all of our artists that we're truly all in on them and their careers. And if we don't have that level of commitment, if we don't have that level of excitement for an artist, then why are we even working with them, right? And so I think that the fact that so many of our artists, for example, have our numbers and are texting us regularly and asking for things or trying to get information or connected to people, and we're doing that for them, shows that we're always going above and beyond what our, necessary commitment is, and we're really trying to service our artists as best as we can.
I want to talk a little bit about social media and the power of TikTok in terms of building your audience. Can you expand on that?
Yeah, I feel like without TikTok, I'm not here today. TikTok allows artists all around the world, millions and millions of people, to be discovered. There's pros and cons to TikTok. I feel like there's pros and cons to anything. But I feel like there's always a bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like with having TikTok, I can now promote myself without having to go to this big major. I was doing that, like the song Soak City was going up a little bit on TikTok without any label. Now I take that, I go to Empire, I tell them what's going on. They understand that I'm not a traditional artist. I am now a 2024 artist, a kid that made a song off his phone that blew up and launched off TikTok. So you have to understand that when I am that unique artist, I have to be taken, it's a different type of care. There's Alex in my corner. You know what I mean? There's having that one-on-one, I can call Alex at any time. I don't know if I'll get that anywhere else, and that's one thing I was worried about early on, and that's where I ended up at Empire.
Mm-hmm. I drove him to 2K games to get scanned into NBA 2K25 this year. I don't know what label exec's doing that for their artists.
Well, before my final question, I do want to tell the audience that 310 Baby will perform at our networking party after the event today, so super excited about that. Before we wrap, let's talk about what's next.
Hopefully more 2K games, Alex.
We're on it.
Yeah, I'm going to continue to do music, but with me understanding that music is up and down, it may not be 20 years. I look forward to investing, into technology, different startups, and hopefully, because I am now a public figure, I can take this 310 Baby business and attach it to Legos or Nike or something, and then, further expand who I am today.
Thank you for that, Alex, on Empire.
For us, it's continuing to enter new emerging markets and figure out how we can really bring those artists to the U.S., and we really focus on diaspora marketing. We believe we're a master at doing that, and we've crossed over multiple artists from the African continent, for example, very successfully to the West. A great example of that is Shartia, who had New York Times Best Album of 2023, a non-English speaking album, sold out Barclays and sold out O2. And he just had his first English speaking album come out a couple weeks ago, and his single was with Travis Scott, right? And so we've successfully crossed him over. We're going to continue to invest in Asia as a continent specifically, and really excited for our future there.
Wonderful. We must leave it there. Thank you so much. Looking forward to your performance. Thank you.